So, of course, what happened, the Gillespie Park course was all, segregated, and they had a little golf course for blacks. And he and some others decided to go to the Gillespie Park play. Of course, as a result, they were arrested, and of course, they took it to court. And then in the case of the schools, he was one person, I guess, who really initiated after the decision to take the case because they refused to. And then, of course, the hospitals. He was involved in opening hospitals because black doctors could not, at that time, practice, and dentists. And, of course, he pursued that and took it to court and won the case. So he's opened a lot of doors.
Well, in civil rights, we had been trying to get the city. We had a little segregated golf course called Noco Park Golf Course. And we'd been trying to get the city to fix it up and cut the grass and fix the greens and everything and keep it up, and they would never do it. And we had another course for whites called Gillespie Park Golf Course. And they were fixing that up, but wouldn't fix the Noco Park golf course up. So we asked that we be allowed to play at Gillespie Park Golf Course. And of course, they leased it for $1 and a private group and to keep blacks from playing out there. So one Wednesday afternoon, my half a day off, 6 of us, including myself, decided to go out and see if we couldn't play at Gillespie. So we went out and put our money on the counter and tried to sign the book. And when we were signing the book, the caretaker snatched the book from us and said, "No, you can't sign this book. You can't play here." So we said, well, we intend to play, and we put our money down. I think we put 75 cents down to play 18 holes. That was the fee then. And we proceeded to tee off on number 1 tee. And about the 5th hole, the pro came out. And he wasn't there when we started. And he came out and he started cursing us and going on and telling us that this was a private facility. And we said we know better, that the city owns this facility, and since we were taxpayers, we thought we had a right to play out here and enjoy the recreational facilities provided by the city. Well, he cursed us and threatened us and called us everything under the sun. And so I told him, I said, well, we're out here for a cause. He said, what damn cause? I said, the cause of democracy. And of course, he turned red and his lips got blue and everything. And I had to keep a club in my hand for protection because I thought any minute that he would hit me. And I didn't intend to hit him, but I wanted to make him think I was going to do something anyway. But he followed us around, and after 9 holes, I would try to hit the ball down the center, and I was so nervous I was hitting it to the right, and I just couldn't enjoy myself at all. So after 9 holes, I told the guys, I said, let's go. And so we all left, and that night the police came by the house and arrested all of us for trespassing out at Gillespie Park Golf Course. Well, we went into city court and we got us a lawyer, and the judge said, well, if you agree to plead guilty to trespassing, I will give you a light fine and we'll forget it. I said, oh no, we're not going to do that. We're not guilty, and we're going to take this all the way to Supreme Court if necessary, because we think the city is wrong. Well, he fined us $15 and the cost of court, and we appealed it to the Superior Court. We got in Superior Court, and the judge was from down east, and he said, well, if you'd come out on my place like you did, he said, I think I would have gotten he was talking about getting his shotgun. And he said, you're guilty, and we had a jury trial, by the way. And 2 members of the jury, they got rid of all the blacks on the jury, and they had 2 two members of the jury we found out had played at Gillespie. So we took them off the jury stand and put them, got them to take the stand, and they claimed that you had to be a member, the invited guest of a member, to play at Gillespie. Well, we found out that these two members of the jury had played out at Gillespie. They testified that they were not members, nor were they the invited guests of any member. All they did was pay a fee and play out there, 50 cents for 9 holes and 75 cents for 18. So they found us guilty of trespassing out there. Now, in the meantime, our lawyers go into federal court and get what we call a declaratory judgment. Judge Johnson J. Hayes said we had a right to play out there, we had a right to go out there, and the only reason they arrested us were because we were black. And anybody who has to defend this country in active war, has to pay taxes, ought to be able to enjoy the recreational facilities provided by the city. And as far as he was concerned, the city was still in the saddle. They had this course, and they couldn't even show where this group had paid $1 for the lease of this course. And he agreed that this course must be integrated. He gave them a certain date to integrate. Well, 2 weeks before integration was to take effect, the clubhouse mysteriously burns down. The fire marshals go out and condemn the whole course because the clubhouse had been burned down. It stayed condemned for 7 years. So we appealed it and appealed the trespassing decision. Our lawyers, unfortunately, forgot and left the declaratory judgment out of the trespass case when we went to the state Supreme Court. And you have so many days when you make an appeal to get all your evidence in. They forgot and left that out, which was the most important thing on our case. And we were found guilty in the state Supreme Court. We appealed it to the United States Supreme Court. And in the meantime, we went up to Thurgood Marshall, who was head of the NAACP Legal Defense and Educational Fund out of New York, and asked Thurgood for some help. Thurgood looked at the record, read the record. He said, your lawyers ought to be the ones to go to jail instead of you, because we had been given an active 30-day jail sentence at that time. He said, your lawyers ought to be the ones to go to jail for messing this case up like they have. So he said, I am not going to ruin my WL record, win-loss record, by taking this case. He said, but I will help you all with your printing expenses, which was exorbitant when you go to the Supreme Court, because you have to have so many briefs printed and this type of thing. And he said, you're going to lose this case, he said, because the lawyers have messed it up. He said, Tom Clark, who was a member of the Supreme Court, is going to vote against you. Sure enough, we went to the Supreme Court. My father-in-law argued the case for us, and the first thing that the Earl Warren, who was the Chief Justice, wanted to know, how could the lawyers leave something so important out of the case? My father-in-law said, I don't know, but it was left out. It was left out of the case. And sure enough, Thurgood Marshall was right. We lost by a 5-4 decision. Tom Clark voted against us. And all the justices said if that declaratory judgment had been in the case, we would have won the case unanimously. And Thurgood Marshall, Earl Warren, Judge Earl Warren, Chief Justice Earl Warren, wrote a very strong dissenting opinion and said he doesn't understand why North Carolina would want its citizens arrested and thrown in jail for enjoying recreational facilities provided by the city. And Governor Hodges was the governor at that time, and he commuted our sentences and gave us a fine so we wouldn't have to go to jail. And that ended the golf course case.